Shalom, shalom. This is Yair from GMS Savannah. Come with another lesson. But first and foremost, I'm going to get all praise and honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Kakradash, and double honors to the apostles and elder bishops of Great Millstone, which rule well and teach well, and to the Arkham as well as the Philip, pushing this 100% truth and sincerity while risking their life to do so. And also to you hopeful Laker, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, as well as you speckled birds scattered amongst the heathens that have the appearance of the heathens, but the father seed line goes back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and also referred to as Israelite foreigners. But today's lesson we going into is, this 18 hours ago, Frito-Lay abruptly closes factories and fires 432 workers, with more losses likely incoming. And the article say there's a huge shift underway in how Americans eat, with Gen Z leading the charge. Less likely processed mass market junk food, more healthy and local stuff. And while the impacts on restaurants have been extensively documented, with chains declaring bankruptcy amid plummeting sales, not to mention a general contraction across soda, with factories closing nationwide. The junk food recession has also come for chips. And it says here, the case in point, Frito-Lay recently closed its plant in Rancho Cucamonga, California, which had previously operated for over 50 years. The closure happened earlier this summer with minimal warning, and it reportedly resulted in 432 layoffs. While Frito-Lay issued pretty standard anodyne statements about the closures, we read between the lines to get additional insight. The key detail is that this factory had been in operation for over 5 decades. This about all the advances in automation technology that it wasn't designed to take advantage of. That means lost efficiencies and reduced margins, and the consumer demand for chips falling. Frito-Lay likely needs both to reduce its production capacity and squeeze every bit of efficiency out that it can. So it's no surprise that they targeted an older plant for closure. That's been a bit of a trend lately, but it stinks for the impact workers. If you have words of encouragement or advice to share, please leave a comment. Yeah, man, this is Babylon, the Great. Look here, another one say, hey, a grocery chain, laying off around 1,000 employees. Look at that, Pepsi closes factories and fires everyone, and more is to follow. That's crazy. But it just shows you, right here in Ecclesiastes 12:4, it says, when the doors of the streets are closed and the sound of grinding fades, when the people rise up and the sound of birds, but they, Salaka, let me start back at 3. Ecclesiastes 12:3, Salaki. When the keepers of the house tremble, the strong men stoop. When the grounders cease because they have few, and those looking through their window grow dim. And that just show you where a lot of these companies are closing, man. It's not gonna be any work out here, you know. You look at all these grocery stores closing, the Hyundai plant, you know, all these jobs, you know, farmers and stuff. It's no jobs out here. You know, I mean, they closing down. You know, because a lot of the, you know, with the immigrants and everything, you know, they rounding up ICE, rounding up a lot of the workers, man. Which a lot of those are the Northern Kingdom. You know, and it just say on 4 it say when the doors that the streets are closed and the sounds of grinding fades, when the people rise up at the sound of the birds, but all their songs grow faint. And 5, and when people are afraid of the heights and the dangers in the streets, when the alt, uh, almond trees blossom and the grasshoppers drag itself along desires, no longer is stirred. Then the people go into their eternal home and mourners go about in the streets. Like I say, this place is circling the drain, man. You know, they finding all these chemicals and stuff in these foods and stuff. And you know, they gotta shut down these places, man. You know, everything is defiled. You know, all the fruit is nobody to pick the fruits out here. You know, the meat. You know, everything is going up. The price is going up with all the tariffs and everything. This place is circling the drain. You know, here in Babylon, and it's getting worse and worse by the day. And you can see, just like I say, all these it's not gonna be any work out here in Babylon soon to be. Everything is shut down. You know. Micah 2:10, you know, arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest, because it's polluted and it shall destroy you, even through its sore destruction. And like I say, our people got to understand, man, Babylon is great. It's not our resting place, man. Yeah, you know, Jacob's trouble is around the corner. You know, it's finna get real out here in a minute. And we out here got scoffers and stuff every day out here scoffing, you know. So like I say, hey, you on a marking yourself, you know. Because like I say, this is not our rest, man. You can't put your trust in Babylon, man. This place is circling the drain. Right here, Amos 6:1. Woe to them that go down. Woe to them that go down. Woe to them that are at ease in Zion and trust in the mountains of Samaria, which are named chief of the nations, to whom the house of Israel came. You know, everybody try to be in ease here, man. You know, you got a job, you know, but like I say, things could change at any time here in Babylon, and it just show you right here. You know, with these companies, man, they bellying up out here. And if you don't have that covering of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, you gonna bug out here, man. You know, because you look at all these females on these videos, they bugging out. They didn't want a man. Now they paying the consequences because they're trying to do it on their own, man. They want to be deleted. They don't want to wake up the next day, man. It's crazy. All the videos that they have out here, man. It's everywhere, man. Here in Babylon. Go right here to 2nd Ezra 6:22, and suddenly shall the soul places appear unsown, and the full storehouses shall be suddenly be found empty. Yeah, that's coming to the famine, man. Famine of the food. You know, it's coming. You know, and like I say, a lot of our people are gonna get caught up out here because they don't have that covering of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. You know, we're in the end days, man. And you people got to realize that and see what's going on. Because it's going to get worse and worse every day, every month. You know, this place is in decline. So, hey, man, we just blowing the trumpet and let you know, hey, man, repent, come back to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, because the only way you going to navigate through this thing is under that, that guidance of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. But like I say, but at the end of the day, the Lord is in control of everything anyway. At the end of the day, the Lord is in control of everything. Some people not gonna get it. People gonna suffer on this side. Hey, and be back in the kingdom. But like I say, people putting trust here in Babylon, man, this place is circling the drain. And you can't, like I say, you can't, hey, everything is the will of the Lord at the end of the day. The will of the Lord. Because like I say, everything is destruction here, and people are scoffing when all this stuff is going on. They're not talking about that, man. They talking about the Hebrew Israelites, just trying to warn you sottish children out there, but you just don't get it. But hey, like I say, a lot of you Israelites, y'all doing nothing but marking yourself out here. Because look all what's going on here in Babylon. This place is circling the drain. But I hope it was edifying. I'll do a little quick lesson, Hope it was edifying to the whole sheep and lamb. Kwan Yasharala. The water Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. On to the next lesson. Shalom.